Okay, but let's go back, because I'm a passionate believer in Black Lives Matter, and the reason I'm a passionate believer is because systematically, when a black person shoots whatever they're shooting, they're thrown in jail. When a white person shoots, they're given
That is
some
a
time.
complete and absolute fallacy. Hey there, Patriots. I'm slowly but surely patching my life back together and catching hopefully up with some of the videos. Even though I went out, I'm only going out one day a week right now, because it's hardly worth going out with hardly anybody on the street. But that one day has been very productive. I get some great conversations. So this is one of them. Some ladies that were from Chicago came up and wanted to know why we supported Trump. But diehard, Democrats. But in the old sense of the word, I mean, if I were going to say that they're not the new left, other than the woman does seem to fall for the Black Lives Matter bull. Other than that, there were a lot of things that we had in common. So it was a good conversation. It's the kind of conversations that we should be having with the leftists, but these people are not leftists, they're liberals, which is the difference. This is probably which we call a classical liberal. And so I applaud these women for coming up and saying, hey, let's have a conversation, and turned out fairly well. And then here is Danny. Danny's one of the subscribers that came to see me, and came back again a week later with his family, him and his wife and his beautiful little daughter. And that's what I really like. I love it when people engaged, where it just isn't me, but there were other people involved. So and he had a lot to contribute here on this, so appreciated that. So you know what you do if you like it. You like it. If you care, you share. And if you can contribute, because that I need. It's cost me a lot of money to make this move I made in here, and I'm in the hole. It's going to take me more than I've got to stay in this place, so I need all the help I can get. And if you want me out there on the streets doing what I do, I need a home to come home to. So if you can help me out with that, I recommend you go buy some of my designs. And if you would like, just throw some money in the kitty for me, which is always nice. Whatever you can afford. I'm only asking those that can to contribute, please. Those of you that apologize to me that you cannot give anything, there's no need to apologize. This and there are a lot of things I'd like to give to right now. I can't, because I gotta take care of my own. I gotta take care of my own self, But that's it. I mean, this is what it is. So thank you very much. I don't want to take too long, because this is a long video. So God bless you. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the flip side.
I come from Chicago. It's a totally democratic, blue bubble. I liked Trump because he was anti-government. Like, I get that. But you guys, he like, I mean, as a woman, like, how do you support Trump? Like, I just don't get it. I'm just so curious. That's all. I just want to have a conversation. Like, I mean, what do you guys do? This is what you do for a living? Like, I'm like.
Well, I am a heavy equipment mechanic. I work in the rental industry. Okay?
Yeah.
And I've been doing mechanic work for the past 20 years.
Okay.
Whenever Obama was in office, a lot of jobs got laid off, and all of the businesses went through whenever Obama got in office, because
Do you know, like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because of the cutbacks and the
Over-regulation,
exactly.
taxes.
Regulations.
It's
and
regulation taxes. And believe me,
Do you think it's more? So is that what it is? It a tax thing?
there's the taxes, the Medicare, because I'm going to get to that also. Okay?
Sure.
She has epilepsy. I have.
What a fucking horrible photo. And just so you know, I don't like Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
And the
Who
thing
does?
Is, well, I mean, it is what it is. It just
Alright.
is what it is.
For example, okay, I have anxiety. She has epilepsy. Okay,
Sure.
we're both on medication. Okay.
Sure.
Whenever Obama was in office with the Medicare, me and her was just having a discussion about this. All right. Basically, her medicine went from $80 per 30-day prescription and shot up to $200 for a 30 days prescription. It's not something that she can't go away
Did
with.
you have insurance?
Yes.
What was the insurance? I'm curious.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
So that's
Same
what I
thing.
have now. I used to have it. I used to have United.
Yes. And we priced around it. So if I were to go out and buy the medicine outright, it would cost me $1,400 for
Yeah.
a $30 supply.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no way on God's green earth, because I'll be out here on the streets living homeless. Okay. So needless to say, with her medicine skyrocket, because when you take and put Medicare into the system, okay, what does that do for the taxpayer? You have to pay extra pay for this person, just so they can have health insurance, okay? While the working class man suffers, okay, and she has to pay, extra for her medicine. So when Trump came in office, okay, that medicine shot that back down to $60 a month. So that's, from the economy states, from the thing of as far as with her with the medicine and stuff like that. Okay. This is flat out how conservatives think. Okay.
Yeah.
Outside New Orleans is red as state it can be. We're fun-loving people. That's how conservatives are. The thing about it, with CNN News and everything else, they're trying to make us hate each other, just like this right here.
Well,
okay?
and I would like to say that Fox and CNN are doing it together.
Well, they're controlled opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. I look at it this way. If they're taking commercial money, they are beholden to the commercial money, corporate money.
Agreed, right.
So they have an agenda. So you're never going to hear the whole truth. It's bits of truth.
Absolutely.
It's sort of like what they want you to hear, and it's
Absolutely.
more mind control than it is anything
It's
else.
Very edited.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I tend to listen to the people they try to silence.
That's why I want to have a conversation.
And
In Chicago, there's no one I can talk to.
and
because
thank
we
you
all
very
are
much.
along the
I
same-
so much appreciate you coming forward like
Thank
this.
you.
Now,
Thank you.
You started to bring up Trump women. What is it that you have an objection with Trump and women?
So, I feel like the women that support Trump overlook the vocabulary and they overlook his words. So I'm a personal chef. I work for very well-to-do families, and one of the families who's very liberal, the mother-in-law is not. And so she happened to be home one day, and she's like, I'm from New York. I love Trump, and I love him because he speaks his mind, no filter, blah, 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 blah. So me personally, I am somebody that would never hang out with someone who just talks about women the way he talks about women.
Give me an example.
Well, I mean, the pussy grabbing, which is an easy example because that's what's been thrown all over the...
Well, if I may,
Please.
let's pick on that one.
And I'm going to now just go to the shade because
For one,
Now you're hot? Yeah.
For one, that was
That's what
done
you're
in a
I'm
off
from
mic
Florida, so I
interview.
get it.
Okay.
And it was done in the context, if I may.
But-
if I may, he was talking about in the context of like when you're a billionaire and you're out these billionaire parties, you're going to have women that will throw themselves at you.
they're basically gold diggers, and you can do anything you want with them. The fact is, though, he didn't do it. He talked about
Well,
it.
and that's his
Can I add something
language.
to that
That's his
also?
language
But
too.
so you're more about his style than the results.
Okay, so
Because when you look at all of the divorces he's had, they don't speak bad about him. When I've talked to numerous
when I
women,
look at all the what?
the divorces he's had, they don't speak bad about
Well,
him.
I actually think that he. Well,
And I've spoken.
this is multi-layered, you guys. There's so
Yeah.
many layers to this, right? I am a queen, and I get treated like a queen, and I get taken care of, and I do,
You do.
and I love it, and it works well for me, and it allows me to know that my partner takes care of me and loves me and quote unquote worships me, right? I don't doubt that he doesn't worship and take care of Melania, et cetera, and I don't doubt that Melania didn't marry him knowing exactly what she was getting into, okay? And so getting into meaning the person that I am in love with, or partnered with, or just the person that I look towards, the man in my life, he is not as. He chooses different words. It all comes down to
Again,
words.
it's a matter of style.
Yes,
If
it all
I
comes
may
down to
again,
words versus actions. I don't see his actions towards women. I only hear the words towards
thank
women.
you. But what you're hearing, let's get back to what we talked about originally, where these guys will tell you what they want, what you want
Yeah, I
you
get
to hear.
I get
All right.
the story.
Now, being out here, I have personally talked to people, women, that work with him, in the same room with him, that have dated him. I've talked to, I'm being kind here, I'm lowballing this, 4 dozen,
Yeah.
let's say, women that have...
Oh, Hillary.
Oh, Hillary's drunk again.
Yeah, but I don't want to break anything.
That's just the wind took it over. There we go.
But I got 4 dozen women that have worked with them, dated them, Roger Stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he just get arrested?
No, he got let off.
He did? Okay.
Roger Stone's probably main function for Donald Trump was to act as a buffer. He would vet the women that Donald Trump would be interested in. And Donald Trump is like a germaphobe.
I've heard that.
Yeah, and he would the women had to be like,
Christine.
no problems. No drama, none of this crap, And he does, every woman I've spoken to that's dealt with him personally says he treats you like a queen.
Well, so
he
here's
treats
the
you
thing.
properly.
I believe that Donald Trump treats every human, no matter what race, religion, sex, like a decent human until they do him wrong.
And what's wrong with... I do the same thing. If someone
Sure.
comes at me and comes up and goes, "Yeah, asshole, can you go around?" And I say, "Yeah, well, okay,
Be
pal."
categorized by that one person you had a bad influence with. So not every white older man would be a reflection of you. Not every.
Oh,
white,
indeed.
It wouldn't be that way.
Well,
And
you're
we do
intelligent
that.
enough to take one-on-one people.
Right.
That's just why I love you came up and said what you did.
The motto also too is, don't judge a whole group of people by the actions of a few.
Well, and this is
That's
why
exactly-
I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
But this is why, and I feel like, and I don't want a two-party system. I want people to run for government as a human, and we decide.
Well, that's what our
that
founding fathers wanted to
Yes.
begin with. They didn't want parties because the new parties labeled, they eliminate your intellect.
Yes.
Once you become
Yes.
part of a group, you have a group think.
Yes.
So our founding fathers were very leery of having parties to begin with.
Yes.
But that's one of the reasons he won, because he wasn't looked upon as a Democrat or Republican. He was looked upon as not a politician. I believe Joe
Agreed.
the plumber could have ran
Yeah.
in 16.
I totally
Because people
agree.
were totally sick
Yeah.
of the politics.
Of the politics.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the politics.
Yes.
There's no question about it.
He runs his
But
country like a business, you know.
well, okay, but his businesses have all run bankrupt, which
Not all of them.
He's okay.
No.
Okay, but the thing is he's okay with a bankrupt business because he knows the laws. It doesn't affect him personally. It just affects
Well,
the business.
if you've known anybody that has a lot of businesses, not all of them succeed, and some of them are going to go bankrupt, and you use that as a tax write-off on the other businesses.
Sure. And
So
not
it's
everybody knows all that information too.
yeah,
To be
it's,
hard
all,
to-
it's part of doing business if you have a lot of businesses. That's just the way things run.
I know.
So, but they're going to, again, his enemies will use that against him by saying, oh, he's running everything into the ground, and he's like,
I totally get
to
it.
paint him in a bad position.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I'm so overwhelmed with the money behind everything. I'm so overwhelmed with the oligarchy, and Joe Biden's got a shit ton of money.
Oh, sure.
You know, like
Well, Joe Biden's-
Obama had a shit ton of money. They're all being held to the lobbyists, and the problem is I don't feel like the lobbyists are working for
Well,
the
you're
people.
familiar with the term deep state.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's where, like,
Your birthday?
I want a major revolution. I want a human like you or me
Yeah.
to step up and like be like, no more. You know, I want the working class to not have to pay the same taxes as the billionaires. You know, like that's like it's just so hard. And I personally believe that nobody should have to pay for education. Nobody should have to pay for healthcare. Nobody should have to fucking struggle
somebody's gotta pay
because their
for-
prescriptions cost so much fucking
That's
money.
you can't. Somebody's got to pay. The money's got to come from somewhere.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Because like in
nothing's
public
free.
schools, you're still taking out the taxes and stuff. Just like my little girl, she goes to a private school, so I had to pay over $400 some a month, you know, because being it's a private school.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, in still reality, the teacher's gonna get paid by the government because it's coming out of your tax-paid money.
Absolutely.
So needless to say,
And I have a problem
guys,
with government
other-
money in education.
I know. I totally get all of it, but I look at other countries where they tax high so that education and healthcare can be free for everyone.
Well, it's
whether you're
not free if
homeless
they're
or-
taxing high.
Correct, but
Yeah.
as a citizen, I walk in, I don't have to pay anything. That's what I mean by free.
It's not free.
No,
You got to pay for it.
It's
And then you run into.
But you guys, I'm already paying a shit ton of taxes.
Oh,
and
indeed.
I have a doctor bill right now for 2 doctors that I talked to on the phone because of coronavirus. Not even like Zooming.
Right, they don't even
And
see
it's
you.
almost $500.
Right, they don't even see you. But what's happening in Chicago? Democrat-run city, riots, highest murder rate. I mean, how do you justify the Democrat-run city being run so crappily?
But that's happening. That is a classist and racist. That's happening because of poverty. People living in wealthy neighborhoods
But
are
why are they living? In other words, if the policies of the governing body that is there is keeping those people down, if they're then they're saying, oh, we can help you, but here, as soon as we get in, you're screwed.
woman by the name of Kimberly Basic. She's running for Congress in the state of Maryland. And she talks about how Baltimore is poverty run. The poverty level is at all-time high. Crime rate is at all-time high. She's actually running for Republican office. Candace Owens, which is another Republican, black woman that's
Former Democrat.
So if you look these two girls up, okay, and especially, if I was living in Baltimore, I would vote for Kimberly Basic in a heartbeat. Okay? Yeah. So I'm writing these two names down for you. Look them up, do your research. Yeah.
See, the problem is again, I don't like the party system. I want to vote for someone because I like them, and I don't want to vote down a ballot.
Well, the thing is
because not all Republicans and not all Democrats stand for what I want them to stand for.
This has been changed because one of them, take a look at
Because again, just because she's black, just someone's Mexican, to me, they're
you just
human.
mentioned about the racist issue.
Yeah.
Because
which is again made up.
Exactly.
What is systemic racism? Please define that.
The problem is when we generalize, right? And so to the whole Mexican thing, and I get it, droves of people coming into America.
I will blow your mind.
But please
Okay.
do.
Look at me. What am I?
Oh, sure. You said you were Cajun.
Okay. Do you know that Cajuns are all mixed race? But I get identified
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
So my great grandmother was actually Chickamauga Indian. Okay. So actually, all of South Louisiana is all Chickamauga Indian. Okay. I get blamed. Oh, white man. Hey, don't read into what you see. Just like what CNN's throwing at you. Don't look into what they're saying. Do your own research. Ask me what I am. Do your own research.
I do, but at the same time, I do recognize these detention camps. So I'm Jewish, so I come from a world of obviously the Nazis, right?
There you
being held in camps.
Yes.
And like I see this, and I see children being split. But I also know that happened under the Obama administration. Thank you very much.
Yeah, on here, Kimberly Clacy, that's the lady that's running for Congress in Maryland. Candace Owens, and I also have on here too, #WalkAway, former Democrats and liberals that actually, did their own research and they was appalled about how the liberal system and Democratic system have worked and how the conservatives and Republicans system works, and they walked away by the thousands.
Yeah.
And they had #WalkAway, and they had people that doing their own YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just all you do is just do your research.
And thank you for this.
No problem.
My thing is, and I agree with everything you're saying. What blows my mind away is how I agree with that man. Everything health related. Everything health related. I am a freedom freak about that kind of stuff. I also agree with me making all my money. But as a humanitarian, I want to help. Let's go back to healthcare and education. I don't think anyone should have to pay for healthcare. And I understand where you're coming from, but I mean like up front. Me walking into a doctor.
Wouldn't it be
If I
okay
may.
of everything you make? Like if everybody had 10% of whatever their income was went, because your 10% if you're making 100,000 is different than my 10% if I'm making 1,000.
Well, it's no money keeping people from getting sick. So they funded the schools and said you can only teach the treatment.
Yep.
So that's what we got now. We got an industry, a healthcare industry. They did away with the Hippocratic Oath.
Yep.
So that made it that, well, now we have to, what do we do with these? Oh, taxpayers have to pay for it instead of the doctors giving it pro bono. So they spread it out to the people, and they knew, because again, if they can do away with the middle class, if they can destroy us, we are the leaders of the world. If we catch a sniffle, the rest of the world catches a cold. If they can bring down the United States, they can bring in the one world government.
Yeah.
One of the things that this conference said was called Scenarios for the Future Technological and International Development. Lockstep was in it. Lockstep said this: we're going to release a virus. Who's we?
Right.
We're going to release a virus. It'll spread throughout the world, and we're going to use our propaganda networks to put enough fear in the governments and people so they lock down their economies. When we destroy their economies, we're going to come in with our digital currency. Because money bad.
Right. Yeah, because then you can see what everyone's doing with their fucking money.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then they said that they'll have a lock on us by controlling a digital one world government currency.
Absolutely.
So that's what this was planned 10 years ago. Who was at that conference? Fauci.
Yeah, of course, Fauci.
Soros, who funds most of the Democratic.
The Microsoft guy.
Well, thank you. Bill Gates was there. Bill Gates was there.
Yep.
But Soros funds Black Lives Matter, which is a Marxist-run organization. The three women that started it up are avowed Marxists. Antifa, who says they're against fascism, are fascists.
Okay, but let's go back, because I'm a passionate believer in Black Lives Matter, and the reason I'm a passionate believer is because systematically, when a black person shoots whatever they're shooting, they're thrown in jail. When a white person shoots, they're given
some time. That is a complete and absolute fallacy. I can prove it.
I just don't agree.
We've had friends go to jail for a little bit of marijuana. We've had friends get off with
But believe me, right now, who's the biggest target of all? Old conservative white guys. I mean, when I listen to the DNC the past 4 days, the biggest target was. You had that one woman, the one delegate there who was going around saying, I was so happy not to be around white people. It made me feel wonderful. You know, but even though Joe Biden's a white guy, well, yeah, but
No, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden.
but so though, where do we get this most of the racism from? It's look, we just had a black president. You cannot name a profession that doesn't have a black person in it. So where's this racism?
The racism isn't slavery. Slavery is now the prison system. I mean, it's just the facts are
But who's
so
committed
wrong.
most of the crimes? Who's committed most of the crimes?
Most of the crimes are drug related, and white people
Which
are
is
not in
another
jail.
reason they put us in slavery. As far as I'm concerned, only one drug should be illegal. Only one.
Which one?
Devil's breath. Devil's breath is like a date rape drug. It's a drug you wouldn't take yourself.
Right.
It's something you do to control
You would
someone
do-
else.
yeah, right.
You
I
blow it in
totally
your
agree
face.
with you.
Let's go empty out your bank account.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's the only drug that should be illegal, something that you wouldn't take yourself.
Yep.
You educate the people to what all drugs do. When they get of age, you're on your own.
Right. Figure it out yourself.
I mean, they had an amendment to outlaw alcohol. Where's the amendment to outlaw marijuana?
Yeah, no.
Or
not-
heroin.
Not happening. Totally. And so the problem is that prisons are for profit, right? So if I can't pay off the cop who just found me smoking a joint, I'm going to jail,
Right, it's-
and they're making way more money.
That's it. It's all about
Yes.
it's all about money and control.
Yes.
Again,
Yes.
all of this has been happening systematically to put us in the grips of control of
Yeah.
government. That's why this whole COVID, the control of virus,
Yeah.
it's about control.
Yeah.
You really think the government gives a fat crap about your health?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
You know what? Our
People
country's
are
no
corrupt.
different than any other country. Like, you know, you've got the power of the money, and you've got the working class and poverty, and it's just fucked.
Well, we don't have to. Here's the thing: we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We have the Constitution. All we have to do is get back to doing that. But it's like George W. Bush said, the Constitution is nothing but a goddamn piece of paper now. And that's how they treat it.
I know,
They don't
and
even,
that's
I mean, all
lawyers.
these things, even executive
Lawyers,
orders. I
too.
don't give a damn if Trump does an executive order or Obama does one. I'm against that crap. When they come in and say, you got to wear a mask, where's the law?
I gotta tell you, the whole like Supreme Court, I was thrilled to see Kavanaugh stick to the Constitution and support rights that everyone thought he'd be totally against. You know, because that made me super happy because he had a principle, and even though he personally didn't agree with it, according to the Constitution, these people have their rights, and that thrilled me. And I would love for everybody to be non-judgmental.
The only people that should have the last word is us right here.
Yeah, we should be voting on
We the
basis.
people. It starts out, we the people.
I know, and it sucks because, like, literally, we should be voting on a regular basis for everything.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, even Thomas Jefferson said, from time to time, the tree of liberty must be watered by the blood of pirates, patriots, and tyrants. And he suggested about every 20 years.
Yeah.
I was a non-voter up until Trump, and I was like, to be honest with you, I didn't, you know, he was so like, oh, I can't stand that son of a prick. And so I actually sat down and did my own research. I was a first-time voter in 16 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So this man changed my mind because I was always like, man, this all these damn politicians, it just everything just ruined me.
Yeah.
So I did my own research. I did with the man, sat down and listened. I didn't like him as a person, but I liked his views, and he stuck
Respect.
to his views. Okay?
Respect.
And of course, you know, like you said, it means about women and stuff like that. That's locker room talk. You know, and of course, like, if you go back to the 80s and how many rock stars talk about the women this, the women that, you know, he was just referring to it as that.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
You want to talk about women? What did Clinton do to women?
yes.
You know, total respect, you guys. I totally get it.
Yes.
Honestly, though, my heart, I look at other countries and it comes down to education and healthcare, and I'm in a fucking hole. I work 4 jobs, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
And
it's
Chicago-
just,
Look where they are right now. All those countries are going in the dumpster because they've allowed a lot of immigrants to come in. There's a thing called Cloward and Piven. Have you ever heard of it?
no.
All right, in '64, they asked 2 scientific, guys, political scientist.
Okay.
If you wanted to bring down Western civilization, how would you do it? Well, they said, well, you can't do it through war. They're too strong. So this is what you do.
Okay.
You implant some corrupt politicians. You start brush fire wars everywhere, little brush fire wars. You create a lot of refugees. Then you open up the borders and play on the guilt of the countries that started those wars. Allow these people to flood in, overwhelm the welfare system, and then bring the countries down from the inside. Sound familiar?
Sure, of course.
Thank you.
Of course.
That's what's
Totally
happening.
get it.
That's why they want open borders, no country, no walls, no USA at all. You know, one world government, oh, we're all going to be free. Oh. Wait a second, folks. There are a lot of bad people in the world.
Right.
Should we just allow Red China, the army, to come in?
We want to
And you think
say-
they're going to be
We want people to
benevolent?
come in. We just want to know who's coming.
I get it. I get it.
Please do your research. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm glad you stopped by and we had this
Yeah.
discussion.
Totally. I'm grateful for you guys.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
So what do you think? Those are a couple of nice ladies from Chicago. Other than her warped sense of perspective on the Black Lives Matter, which I guess I can kind of like understand. I mean, I think she got that persecution complex from, being a Jewish woman, and it's, has some empathy with the plight of the black people, but I don't think the black people. I mean, we're talking about something they suffered 200 years ago. The Jews they suffered a lot more persecution closer to the time frame. So, we just had a black president. Where's the racism? At any rate, thanks for coming by. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And please, if you like it, hit the like button. That seems to matter for some reason. And more importantly, if you can contribute, go visit my shop. Remember, all my designs come with a trigger back guarantee.